This article right here, Spurs fans, I think is going to help confirm that the tank is indeed on.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. I found this article on CBS this morning. I thought this is kind of interesting where they talk about who's the worst team in the NBA. Is it the Pistons, our Spurs, or the Wizards? But they drop a little stats in here that kind of make you think, you know what? We could be so much better than we are. The tank is probably on. So while I'm going over this particular subject, drop a comment down below. Do you agree that the Spurs are indeed tanking now? Last night's game was horrible to watch, to see the team chucking 41 threes and making only 5. Just an abysmal efficiency rate for our Spurs. Or do you think we're just this bad and we're not tanking it all and giving our best? Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the thumbs up, like, support the channel, and subscribe to become part of our wonderful sports community. Let's get, by the way, go Giants. I know there's some Cowboys fans in there, so you can be rooting for us to beat the Eagles twice. Anyway, in regards to our San Antonio Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs lost their 17th straight game on Monday, but you probably didn't notice. After all, it's not even the longest losing streak in the NBA at the moment. The Detroit Pistons also played on Monday, and they picked up their 20th straight defeat. Together, they are the first set of teams to have losing streaks of 17 or more games happening at the same time. Wow, Pistons fans and Spurs fans, we're making history right now. Okie dokie. Another team narrowly avoided that fate. That would be the Washington Wizards, who have lost 14 of their last 15 games. Their one victory, a 126-107 win over, they guessed it, the Pistons. Together, the three teams have lost a preposterous 51 consecutive games against opponents outside our little trio of misery. Wow, just really bad basketball. That being said, which of these teams is absolutely the worst in the NBA? We're going to talk about the Spurs in this article. I'm going to drop the article in the comments below if you want to read what they have to say about the Wizards and Pistons, or if you're Wizards and Pistons fans stopping in. But let's get in here for the case for the Spurs. Several statistical rating systems indicate that so far, San Antonio has been the worst team in the NBA. The most prominent among them is their net rating, which is currently minus 11.8. It's 1.5 points per 100 possessions worse than the Wizards and 2 full points worse than the Pistons. That means we're getting it outscored by an average of that amount per 100 possessions. So our net rating is absolutely abysmal this season. If you take a look further into the article, you look across the stats, the placings, if you want. It's hard to find many strengths for our Spurs. They rank 25th in defense and 29th on offense. The rebounding rate and turnover rate both rank 27th. They take the fewest free throws in the NBA. And if there's one saving grace, it's that they have the NBA's highest assist rate. Of course, that likely says more how bad their players have been, ouch, at creating their own shots than anything else. With lineups featuring Jeremy Sohan at point guard, the Spurs have been outscored by 20.5 points per 100 possessions this season. Seems like the Jeremy Sohan point guard experiment is finally over, but wait, there's more. Trey Jones is San Antonio's best point guard, and the Spurs have played relatively well with him at the helm. But their refusal to commit to him as a starter has held this team back all season long, and until they make that switch, they'll be among the NBA's worst teams. There's more of this. All the way down past, keep on going. In fact, never watch this scene again. Never watch this again. All right, anyway, finally the verdict. The Spurs are the easiest team to roll out here. Well, that's good to hear, right, Spurs fans? Because the fix is so simple. Lineups featuring Trey Jones are getting outscored by 2.8 points per 100 possessions. Lineup without Jones are getting outscored by 17.9 points per 100 possessions. The moment the Spurs decide to start Jones and crank up his minutes, they go from being a historically bad team to a normal bad team, probably more similar to last year at times. We can also probably project a fair bit of improvement throughout this season from Victor Wembanyama, and the rest of the team is young enough and has skill sets that theoretically fit easily enough to grow as the year progresses as well. So that right there, Spurs fans, I think that's it. That's what kind of stood out to me. And we've been talking about this all year. We're talking about starting Wemby at center. Sure, there's a Sohan point experiment. I get why the team did it. I thought it went on a little too long, but I can see what they're trying to do there, and it failed miserably. That being said, continuing to not start the best point guard on your team, you got to think they're just. Are we tanking? I don't like saying that, but what else are we doing? We're clearly not trying to put the best lineup out there to win. We had Cedi Osman out there playing the point, or pseudo point. We've had Malachi Brennan the last 2 games. You know, a lot of us at this point agree that the optimal starting lineup would be from 5 to 1, Victor Wembanyama, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Trey Jones. And for whatever reason, the Spurs are just not putting that lineup out there. I am very ecstatic that they put Wemby at center, and boy, he's been a rebounding machine since doing so. What, he had over 20 rebounds his first game at center, and I think he had like 15 last night. So the rebound numbers are going like this with Wemby, and he's holding his own out there. Granted, he hasn't played the biggest, baddest centers in the NBA yet, but I like him at the 5 and having Jeremy played his natural position at the 4. But with all this shuffling and all the constant changing in lineups, we're kind of seeing what we have last year. There's just no chemistry at times. Yes, they play well in the first half, and then they just suck in the second half for whatever reason, or the third quarter. We're the worst freaking third quarter team in like the history of ever. I don't know what's going on. I just sit here and I hate to say it's a Spurs fan, but I really think the goal is clearly not winning. I understand that. We're not an NBA championship team. We're not going to go to the finals and win a title. I get that. I accepted that before going into the season. But I expected to be a more competitive team. And yes, the last 2 games have been a little bit closer. But last night, I don't think the game was close because of how well we played. The game was close because of how bad Houston played. The Spurs were awful last night. Just absolutely just seeing 41 threes from our team. And the starters, I think, wouldn't they go like 3 of 32 or something? Just seeing Kelvin chuck 3 after 3. Devin, Wemby. I'm just sitting there like, what the? That was maybe one of the most frustrating games to watch this year. Not the biggest blowout. We've lost by 40 points a few times this season. But just watching the team just run up and chuck 3 after 3. And I'm thinking, Pop, run a play. Yell at these guys. Remember when Lonnie Walker would make a mistake and get right out of the game? Like, if these guys keep chucking threes, take them out and put somebody else in. I'm totally perplexed at what happened last night. And really, I'm just getting more and more confused on what the goal is this season. If the goal is to develop Victor Wembanyama and the rest of the guys and make them the best players they can be, the best San Antonio Spurs that they can be, then shouldn't we have our best lineup out there? You guys know I'm not the biggest Trey Jones fans in the world. I hope I'm wrong about that. That being said, at this point, why the hell is he not starting? Put him in there for 5 to 10 games. And if he sucks at starting point guard, then try something else. But the fact that we're just trying all these weird lineups, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. It's frustrating. We set a franchise record with our 17th loss in a row last night. I hate seeing that be attached to this team. And we got the Lakers twice this week, so it's not looking good to get a win there. I hope I'm wrong, and I just hope for the love of Spurs Nation, we find a win sooner than later. I know we're going to get a lottery pick, a top 5 pick, probably a top 3 pick, maybe 1 pick, whatever it may be. But I don't want to kill the team's morale. I want the guys to, keep competing and just, win a game here and there. Just, it's going to feel good for them, I'm sure, to get a win. It's been a long time. It hasn't been since November 2nd, and I hope we don't go into 2024 saying the last time the Spurs win was November 2nd, 2023. Please do not let that happen. They're better than this. They really are. And Pop, make some changes. Put Trey in the starting lineup. See what happens. What's the worst going to happen? We continue losing, right? Anyway, that's all I got, Spurs fans. Thank you all for tuning in. For those of you that stuck around for the Giants game last night, appreciate you hanging out for that too. It was great to see at least one of my teams win last night. If you told me going into the season, after Daniel Jones got hurt and Tyrod Taylor got hurt, that Tommy DeVito is going to be the Giants starting quarterback, and the Spurs, between your two teams, which team do you think is going to get a winning streak between the two? Tommy DeVito starting for the New York Giants or the Spurs with Wemby and company? I would have said, the Spurs weren't playing well at that time. We'd be like, well, gosh, some sort of winning streak for sure, the San Antonio Spurs. But the Giants are cooked with Tommy DeVito, and it's been a total 180 there. My New York Giants have won 3 games in a row somehow with Tommy DeVito playing good enough to get the wins, not playing poor, and our Spurs just can't figure it out at all. Every game is the same freaking thing. We play well in the first half, and the second half, something's got to change. With the players, with the coaching, and coaching, I mean all of them, something's got to change, and hopefully sooner than later. I do not want to see this team's losing streak get to 20 or more. That's all I got. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for tuning in. As always, go Spurs, go.